My bad. Hey, and we live. Hey, and we live. Today we out here at Middle Bank. We got a little problem, so we had to start it over. It's regular, it always happens. But we're here with, you can tell me what's your name, sir?
Again, Roosevelt Byers. Everyone calls me Coach Rose. I'm here at Dunleavy Millbank, and welcome.
All right, so we out here at Millbank, and there's a lot of kids out here. There's a lot of activities for them, and that's good because you know, outside this, there's not much.
Yes.
And they're taking a lot from our communities, but they're expecting a lot too.
Right.
Well, I want to talk about like what you're doing right now.
Right now, right at this present moment.
Yes, like what's your job, your career?
You can talk about. Well, again, I do a lot here at the Dunleavy Millbank. This is a community center that I grew up in, so it's very near and dear to my heart. Been here since I was 9 years old. I'm not going to tell you how old I am now, but I'm the athletic director for the all of the athletic department. I also run the after-school program recreation department. I also oversee all of the basketball programs where we do 3rd grade through 8th grade. On our high school level, we collaborate with the New Heights program and play on the Under Armour circuit.
How's that going?
Oh, excellent. We got some really good prospects. Isaiah Washington, Sid Wilson, 2 high-profile players, Pedro Marquez. Isaiah Washington just committed to the University of Minnesota. Sid Wilson is up at Brewster Academy, where he has a slew of schools that he's going to get to choose from. Pedro Marquez.
So when you say, okay, and let me explain, I just want to explain one thing about the interview because you knew, and I don't do it as a disrespect, but like sometimes like when people are talking, I want to know what they're talking about, so I like to stop and
of course.
and then talk about that. So I'm going to do it a lot, but that's only because I want to understand.
Yes.
And I don't want whatever you saying to go towards people and to be like, feel like you came off wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So doing what you're doing, right, and they're having all these kids come from you, like how does that make you feel in a sense?
Well, it makes me feel proud, you know what I'm saying, to be able to have a kid as a cub, as a youngster, and to be able to mold them in the right perspective of not only athletics but academics as well.
There you go. And I'm gonna stop you there because a lot of people are really just out here for these kids for athletic. You know, and we do need a lot of people like you that are here really education-wise. Like, are you on your top of your grade? Like, what's your average? You know, have you ever had to sit a kid because of his grades?
Of course. That's the foundation. And once you do that with 1 or 2 of your star players, you are setting an example. You are setting a foundation. So yes, we've had to do it, and it speaks volumes since we did do it, because now you're talking about kids on the honor roll, getting academic scholarships as well as basketball scholarships.
So when you talk about, let's talk about academics, right?
Yes.
So I like to talk about academics because I feel like a lot of people are ignorant to certain things, and it looks like they're stupid, but it's really ignorant because if they knew more, then they would expand more outside of their environment.
Right.
So what would you tell a kid that's like, a young kid, like if he just feels like he's just stuck here? Like, what are some things you do to like expand that for him? And just
I will show him by example.
Okay.
I'll take him out of the hood, so to speak.
Yeah.
Maybe go upstate, go up to Nyack, where I went to school up in Spring Valley.
Yeah.
Take them up to Connecticut, and just let them see. The kids only see what we expose them to. So, like you said, if they get to see and experience other things, then that's what they're going to be used to.
Do you feel like, okay, so with the kids not really seeing much, and I don't like to blame them, but I like to say they play a big part, and that's their parents.
Yes.
Like, how do you feel about them and their role of being in their child's life? Like, even if they do have a lot of work and this and that, do you still feel like they need to make time for their kids?
Well, one thing that I won't do is ever blame a parent.
Okay.
For a lot of different reasons, because we don't know their circumstances.
Yeah.
It could be a one parent household. It could be a kid that doesn't have a parent at home, just an aunt or an uncle or grandparent.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we as coaches and mentors need to do is really dig in and find out what the real issue is. What is that home life like? So you get a lot of coaches and a lot of kids that play in programs, and they have never met the parent.
Yeah, that
they
is
have
bad,
never, so one of the things is that we dig deep. We try to figure out how can we help emotionally, socially, economically. That's the one thing about Dunleavy Millbank and the Children's Aid Society, that we have the upper hand and we're able to do. dig a little deeper. You know, just recently, you know, coach, COACH, coaching our athletes consistently helps. You know,
I like it.
consistently.
That's good,
you know,
that's
so we
good.
break it down here. You know, anytime we can break a word down and really, you know, use it, you know, that's what we do.
Well, that's good, and that's why I kind of like want to go towards when you're talking about just digging deep, because a lot of people just look at kids and be like, oh, that's just a bad kid. It has to be coming from somewhere.
There's no such thing as a bad kid.
And that
bad situations, bad circumstances, but there's no such thing as a bad kid.
Exactly.
A bad kid to you may not be a bad kid to me.
Exactly.
A bad girlfriend to you may be the best girlfriend for me.
Yeah. So no, I understand that, but that's why I like to for us to break it down, because I know like a lot of people just go straight off of perception. And I'm more of like trying to learn people, so that's kind of like why I do the show. And then we already kind of explained about going through, digging in, and getting to understand a person.
Right.
You know, you want to learn and you want to kind of get the kids to understand where you came from, things you did, and they probably, because you see the potential in it.
Yes.
You know, that potential is great, as you see. So let's talk about education for you when you was coming up. And I always go back to middle school, because I feel like when you get in middle school, that's when you're trying to find yourself.
Yeah.
You all over, you with these people, that people, so it's like, we're gonna start from middle school, talk about a little bit, and then go into high school, and then your college, and go to college.
Right.
And then, you know, that's
Millbank is between 118 and 117. I grew up on 120th in Lenox Avenue.
okay.
This building right behind, I went to that school.
Okay.
That's middle school. So when I was there was teachers who played a big role. Mr. Byers, you know, just things I used to always say, come to school, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. That stayed with me.
Yeah.
Then I went from right here to 07 to Watley, which wasn't the best school, but we made it the best. And then from there, I went to Julia Richmond, where I played basketball. This is my senior year, and couldn't shoot. Defensively, I knew the game, and I knew that this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And when I graduated, I had a coach that once told me that if you look in the back of the newspaper, there is acquisitions of who just got a job. And I used to go and look in the back of the newspaper, and I saw St. Thomas Aquinas College and St. Bonaventure just hired a new coach back in 1991. So I just told my age, okay? And I wrote a letter to both of those schools and said, introduce myself. I told them I'm not the strongest student, but if you give me an opportunity, I'll be the strongest student, and I'll also be one of your strongest athletes. St. Thomas Aquinas wrote me back. I was enrolled into the HEOP program, H-E-O-P, where they take kids who are misfortunate economically, and I got into the program, and the rest is history. Graduated from there.
Where did you graduate with?
I graduated a bachelor's degree in recreation. Then I went to Fordham, got my master's, and
You got your master's in?
recreation.
Okay.
Recreation. I had a
vision.
slogan, a vision and a slogan, is that whatever job I choose, I have to wear a suit. So could it be a two-piece suit, a three-piece suit, or a sweatsuit?
Yeah, no, I feel you. That's how you gotta be. You gotta really be comfortable into like what you want to do, because you don't want to get a job and you don't really like it, because you're not really giving your all.
Right.
And you always want to give your all at everything, because you want to, like you said, lead by example.
Yes.
Definitely. So just talking about, let's just jump back a little bit into like high school. Like, because you said you only played 1 year. Was like academics hard for you? Like,
Academics was terrible for me. Terrible. But one of the things is that I wanted to fit in.
Yeah.
So I was one to talk and play around and in the hallways when they was shooting dice during lunch breaks. But one of the things is that when that bell rung, I disappeared. I went back to the classroom. So when it was, back then they used to announce who was graduating over the loudspeaker. So when they called my name, all the guys I used to hang with was like, yo, how the hell are you graduating? I said, because when that bell rung, I went to class, checked in, got my assignment, maybe did a little, and then I skipped away. So I was able to maneuver and manage what I needed to manage. So I got involved, but I didn't get too involved.
Yeah, and that's what I try to tell some kids, because I know a lot of people are like, no, you got to tell them that they got to A's and B's. No, I say, you got to get through it. best way possible. You know what I mean?
If you're a C student, be the best C student.
Yeah, just get through that.
Try to be a B. If you're a B student, be the best B student, but try to get an A.
Yeah, and that's why I try to tell people, like, you know, and it's just like me trying to tell people not to do drugs and say, it's not like I don't want you to do, I want you to drugs, but if you're gonna do it, at least monetize it where you can control yourself. Because I'm not for the drugs, but I'm saying, do it, but make sure you're in control of yourself, because so many people, you can't tell them no, because they're not going to listen.
Right.
You got to try to tell them to slow it down, because as they slow it down, then they probably see something different, and they'll change in their own pace.
But then you also got, you know, again, fitting in. If my man is doing it, and he still got all the latest Jordans and everything, why can't I do it? But if you get someone to say that they have never smoked or drink or any of that in their lifetime, and they're 30 plus, a kid will be like, for real?
Yeah,
that's me.
Yeah.
I never smoked, drink, anything. Never had a beer, never had wine, nothing in my life. Why? It was a choice. By the time I turned 18, I never did it. I said, why try? Why start now?
No, that's good though. That is, see, that's what I'm saying. Like stuff like that, you don't know, but I know for some people, like there's so much around it, and like how you said, they just, and that's why I say if you can monetize it or bring it down, and then I always say work your way away from it, then that's great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you surround yourself around people that will help you.
Yeah.
You know, if you got, you know, you may have your boys, you know, who does certain things, and they say, okay, you know what, today I'm not letting you do that.
Yeah.
There are people out there that
do
will
that look out for themselves, because they know that they're doing something wrong, but they don't want everybody else around them.
Exactly.
So that is true. You gotta have those type of people around you, like you said, good friends, and you gotta. And I also like to promote kids, like, you know, never giving up, because there's a lot of stuff that happens each and every day in that life.
Right.
You know what I mean? What's one thing that you went through that you can say that's really tough? And this is kind of the last question that you went through that was really tough for you, but you wound up working your way over it, and you feel like it was, you know, a good story for somebody to hear, I guess.
Oh man, just trying to fit in. You know, there was, 80s, grew up in the 80s, and everyone was, you know, doing what they needed to do to make a little bit of money. Yeah. And I wanted to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? But the guys that was, but everybody knew that I was, you know, a ball player. I was a positive kid. So I had those guys that was doing that. It was like, nah, not Rose. You're not getting involved. They would help me. So, but I see nowadays that there's not a lot of adults who are into the negativity, that knows a kid has potential in basketball, has potential in the classroom, and they won't shy them away from it. I just wish that there were more people that, okay, do what you do, but don't bring other people.
Staying in your lane. That's the kind of what you talk about too all the time, is about staying in your lane, because it's not a bad thing to do what you do. But maybe that's what you want for life, you know what I mean? You can't be ashamed of who you are. And like I always say, you gotta get your own on your own. And when I say that, I mean that as like, you get yourself right, then you can help everybody else around yourself. You know what I mean? I definitely want to thank you for coming out. But before we go, I want you to tell them your social media.
Like social media, I'm new to this. It's Millbank_Flyers118. Millbank_Flyers118. That's Instagram. And on Facebook, Roosevelt Byers.
Okay. Like I always say, we put these videos up on Rain Check. Definitely check them out. Subscribe. I definitely appreciate you taking time out of the day, because time is money, because when you're here, you always get paid, but it's always valuable too. So
no, I'm not always getting paid when I'm here.
Okay, well that's good though too. You get paid something.
Okay.
I appreciate you. And thank you again. We
Yo,
out.
can I get a rain check? Nah. Oh man, thanks a lot.